Welcome to another video, guys. Today I'm gonna give you a detailed Hearthstone deck tracker guide so you guys know how to set it up and get the most out of it. Deck Tracker has been improving quite a lot in the past few months, and I'm very happy to see some new features that are making it even better than before. So in this video I'm gonna try to explain everything you need to know about the Deck Tracker, how to enable all of the cool features, and how to actually use that information. So if you're serious about Hearthstone, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can fan for some Hearthstone coaching. And you can be sure I'm gonna do my best to help you hit Easy Legend in Hearthstone. Now, let's get into the video.
You are not prepared!
So yeah, Hearthstone Deck Tracker is a super cool program you could be using when playing Hearthstone, and personally I believe anybody who wants to actually be improving in the game and climbing should be using Deck Tracker if they can. Sadly, nowadays you can only use this on a computer. There's no longer deck trackers on mobile phones and things like that, which is kind of a huge bummer, huge downside for anybody who plays Hearthstone that way. But if you're on a computer, there's no excuses not to be playing with a deck tracker. It is just gonna tremendously improve your decision making, your spatial awareness, your card tracking abilities, all of that nonsense. Like, Deck Tracker does not only track your deck and the opponent's deck, like, yeah, it does help for you to know exactly what's left in your deck alone, but that is literally a fraction of what Deck Tracker does. It can do so much more. It helps you track the opponent's hands, it helps you track what's left in your deck, it helps you track what are the odds of you getting a card, the opponent, what are the odds of him getting a card, and all sorts of other different counters that are gonna tremendously save you time, so you can actually use that time to actually think about the game, to actually strategize instead of just counting what's on the board, trying to remember what's in your deck, all of that stuff. I'm not saying you're not going to be able to reach Legend without a deck tracker. Heck, you might even reach rank 1 Legend without a deck tracker. I'm just saying it's going to be a lot easier for you to do it with a deck tracker, and it's going to definitely help you do better decisions. So trust me when I say, even if you think you're playing well without the deck tracker, you're going to play a lot better if you are using a deck tracker. And let's not pretend the opponent is also not using a deck tracker, so you are going to be basically handicapping yourself for no reason if you're not using deck tracker. So, first things first, for those of you who don't know how to actually get Hearthstone Deck Tracker, all you need to do is go down to their website and go for the downloads. Or you could actually use my personal download link from the description or from the pinned comment, and you will be supporting the channel, basically for free, if you actually install Hearthstone Deck Tracker through my link. And I thank you in advance for that. You can download it either for Mac or for Windows, and it's a pretty simple installation. You just click that thing, download it, install it, and after that you can fire it up. And here's my deck tracker, so we can get into it. You're probably gonna notice mine is actually customized with red and dark theme. You can actually do that for yourself too. But I'm gonna talk about some less meaningful things like this later. So first of all, if you want to be getting your deck tracker to get all of the cool features, you go for options. And also make sure you get the advanced options ticked from the bottom left. And that way you're gonna be seeing all of this green text nonsense. But it's gonna make a little bit more sense really soon. You can actually connect your Battle.net through my account, and here you can just log it in. You have also some other ticks in here. It's not really that important for most of you, but yeah, might as well just log it in so you can track your information, and basically you are also going to be able to get extra data this way. Like, for instance, I can go here and I can go for my decks, and I can see all the decks I've been playing. I can see my replays, my collection, so it's pretty beneficial to actually have your deck tracker connected to your game. And yeah, it's just all around pretty cool this way. Here I guess you can do things for the collection. Here you can say if you want replays for your games, for what kind of games you want replays, all of that stuff. So definitely look through it. But now, more importantly, let's go to general, and here we can see that you can actually hide deck tracker. Like, right now it's visible, and I actually did have it hidden. Now when I click hide again, it disappears. In some cases it's a good idea for you to be doing this if you like want to be seeing something. For instance, sometimes it's in front of your friends and whatnot, so it's definitely something worth knowing how to do. This is the newbie way of doing it. I actually have it on a hotkey, which I will try to remember to teach you at the end of the video again with the customization and everything, but yeah, I basically click a hotkey and I can hide it like this. It's pretty convenient. We also have this tick hide in menu, which I personally like. If you don't have it hide in menu, it's gonna show during your in collection and searching for opponent, that kind of deal, and personally I don't like that too much. You can also have it hide in spectator. That makes no sense for me, but you can. I'm just going through all the options, trying to explain. Show gameplay overlay while Hearthstone is in the background. This means basically the deck tracker is going to be shown even if I have, let's say, Chrome in the front, whereas if I remove it, I think it should stop showing like this now. Let's see. Maybe if I Alt Tab. No, weird. Hearthstone's in the background. I don't know, maybe it requires a restart or something. Doesn't matter much. I have it ticked, so probably you should too. We can also hide only the decks. That keeps everything else. Not sure why we need that. You can hide timers. This is actually, I think by default, this is with hide timers, which honestly is a very cool feature. If you hide timers, you're not going to be seeing this section. Whereas if you have it shown, you're gonna know how much time you've spent during your turn, how much time the opponent spent during their turn, and you're also gonna know how much time you have left on the turn. Like, it's usually 1 minute 15. The first turn, I think, is 45 seconds. But after that, it's 1 minute 15. It's pretty cool for you to actually have this little timer so you actually know exactly how much time you have left for your turn. So definitely advise you, make sure hide timers is unticked. Okay, we also have card tooltips. This is a pretty cool feature to have. Basically, when you have card tooltips, once the opponent does something like, let's say, discover a card through tracking, generate a card through arcane glyph or something, it's gonna have a little tooltip in the opponent's hands, and that way you're gonna know, like for instance, if it was from arcane glyph, you're gonna know it's a discounted spell in their hand, so you're gonna have a better time actually remembering things like this. So it's definitely very worth having it active. For secrets only, honestly I'm not sure exactly what this means, but it's good to have it for everything. Use card animations. Not sure what this means, honestly. Anybody in the comments could let me know, but probably is not that important. I have it ticked. Card mark tooltips. I'm not sure what card mark tooltips also is supposed to mean. I think it's the same as card tooltips, but I'm probably wrong. Either way, I still have it ticked like that. Removed grayed out secrets. This means basically deck tracker is also, it's not only tracking your deck and the opponent's deck, but it's also tracking secrets, which is a really big benefit, especially for honestly, it's amazing for everybody. It basically tracks all of the secrets you've actually tried to trigger already, and it grays them out once that happens. This thing basically is also going to remove them. Like, it's not only going to gray them out, it's also going to remove them, which I personally believe it's kind of baity. You don't want that. You'd rather see what the secrets you've tested for already were, so you know what else you need to still be playing around for, and don't rely on it too much because sometimes it does get broken. Like in certain cases you actually have tested for that type of secret and the deck tracker hasn't paid attention or something. Like, I don't know, sometimes it does bug like that. So it's not 100% gonna be accurate for you, but it's still very worth it to have it active for you so you can pay close attention to things like that. Don't reset deck after a game. Not sure what that means, some niche situation. Show card flavor text. This basically shows your card flavor text that, yeah, it showed it right now. Not sure why it's kind of buggy. Like, it shows it right here. You can actually, I think you saw a few times it actually blinked for a second, but I'm not sure what's happening right now. But yeah, it's basically a little cosmetic thing. Yeah, for some reason right now it's refusing to show it. Bugs still happen from time to time. We also have show battery status. I guess that's for laptops and stuff. You can also play around with the opacity. You can make it a little bit transparent. I like it full brightness. And this here is very important. Unlock overlay. I've seen a lot of players complain that some of their information is stacked one on top of other. It's too small, it's too big, all that type of stuff. All you gotta do is go into a game and unlock your overlay, and you're gonna see all the customizable stuff. And you're gonna notice we even have some new stuff here. Like, for instance, this thing didn't used to be here before. This basically is gonna show you if you have some kind of effect, like prep, like the 1 mana or 5 mana. rogue pirate, that kind of deal. Something that basically gets resolved once you play another thing. Like, I'm probably not explaining this well enough, am I? But you should be getting the picture, right? Prep, for instance, the next spell you cast this turn costs 2 less. So it basically is like a little buff for you to remember that you have this thing active, so you don't actually coin after that, you know. We also have this little cool bar. It's tracking things like curses, like asteroid damage, like how big astral automation is. And I think it's tracking a bunch of other things as well. I'm not sure what this little thing is. It's also going to be tracking some stuff. And this is also pretty cool. This is your damage counter. Basically, you're going to know how much damage you have on the board ready to attack for next turn kind of deal. Like, for instance, here we're dropping a couple of idiots. The opponent's gonna do something, and this thing is gonna... Now you get to see we have 2 attack ready to go face for next turn. I mean, it's not super exciting right now, but once you actually get a little bit more idiots on the board, this is gonna be saving you tons of time. I'm gonna tell you how to activate that a little bit later. And yeah, you can basically play around all of these things. You can make them smaller, bigger. You can move them around, all that kind of stuff. It's gonna help you out. Track for even more things. You can move your deck. You can, like I said, make it take less space. And also, after you're done with all of these things, like you could mess it up completely. After that, you can just click reset, and that's gonna bring all of those things back to their place. And yeah, after you're happy with... Oh shit, I actually messed it up completely. That actually reset it back to default or something? Okay, well, I'm sad now. I'm gonna have to put these things back where I had them originally. So I guess reset does not reset the current locked position. It resets back to some default action. Not very happy what I just did, but it's a simple fix. Just gotta drag all of these back where they were. So yeah, apparently don't touch the reset if you haven't really messed up grandly like I had. Okay. Looks close enough to what it used to. After you're happy with the things everything is looking, you can click lock, and that's gonna be removing that bluish thing for you, and it's gonna keep everything into place. Okay, we have under general we have windows. Here I'm not really sure what you should be doing. Here's how I have it set up. I haven't really touched much. You can play around with the theme here. You can make it light, dark, or custom. I think mine is custom, but I don't know. Like, here's dark, here's... No, nothing's happening. Yeah, I think the theme thing was from a different window. Either way, this is what I have here. Moving down to player, here's what we have here. We can make things look bigger, make them look smaller, basically drag it as big or small as it makes you happy. We have the opacity again. This is only for your part, not for everything. So you have that layer of customization. Here, this is the show active effects. I think this was the prep bar we were playing around. We have show counters. I think this is for tracking how big your asteroids are, that kind of deal. Not really sure. When I click it, nothing happens right now, but I have it active, so you probably should too. Show related cards. Tooltip is a new feature which I'm really happy about. It shows you things like all of your dead taunts if you're gonna be playing a hydration station. I think it shows you what cards you have in the fizzle. A lot of really cool information, so definitely have that ticked as well. We also have show board attack counter. This is this little thing right here. Very, very cool feature, especially if you're playing white tokeny decks. It's gonna save you a lot of time actually mapping out how much damage you have on the board ready to go face. It's not always perfect, but it's pretty close to always perfect. It definitely bugs out when you play things like Zarimi and stuff, but in most cases it works flawlessly. We have center decks vertically. I'm not really sure what this thing does. Yeah, I guess it centers it in the center of the screen on the right side like that. I don't need that. I'm not sure what highlight cards in hand is exactly. I had it unticked, so I'm gonna leave it like that. We also have highlight last drawn card. This is extremely powerful, by the way. It's almost like cheating because it actually kind of saves you a little bit of time here and there. It definitely saves you a lot of time if you actually draw something like if we play Magata, for instance. It's gonna flash all of the cards you top deck before you actually see those cards. Like here, you're gonna notice right now, I clicked end turn. When this guy's done with his turn, notice how the card's gonna flash before you actually visualize it. See how we saw Speaker Stomper before it even got drawn? See it again. We drew Outfit Tailor. This time it flashed kind of same time as we drew it, but it's usually preceding like half a second before you actually see the card. I know it's not a big deal right now with a single draw card, but if we actually get lucky enough to draw Magata later, so you guys can see all 5 cards flashing before we even get to see the first one. In that case, it's gonna be pretty huge like that. So it's definitely a very powerful feature, and I advise you to have it ticked. We also have this remove cards if none remaining. I don't like this one much. It basically takes out the cards from your deck. You saw how the Musclotron got removed from there. Personally, I'd rather have this thing unticked, so we can see that Musclotrons are just grayed out and drawn and not just removed like that. And we also have include cards created in hand, like the coin and such. It's not a great feature to have. It basically puts cards you've created back into your deck like it's actually a part of it. And no, I don't really think something like that is needed, so I have it unticked as well. Here in the midsection we have things like deck title. Right now it says hand buff. You can remove that. You can also include the wins, the win percent like that, so it's visible like that. You can have this tip card on top. This was important in the what was it called? The dredge set. Basically, when you dredge a card, you put it at the top of your deck, and this way you're gonna know what your next top deck is gonna be. We also have cards at the bottom. That's the same thing, but you get a little section here showing you the free cards at the bottom. We also have, you can remove the cards for some reason if you want to try pretend you're tryharding or something. We can also have the ETC band cards visible or not. We can also have the card counter. This little section here, it's actually pretty helpful, because at the glance of an eye you can see you have 21 cards left, 6 cards in hand right now. You can also do that by hovering over on your deck in the game directly, but this way you don't need to do literally anything. You just look at this and you know you have 6 cards. In that case, you can just play Magata and still be at 10 cards without overdrawing this turn. And you're also gonna know quickly how much cards you have left in the deck. We can also see the draw chances. This is actually a pretty cool feature. Right now we can see I have a almost 5% chance to top deck a card if I have a single copy of it in the deck, for instance Magata. Or I have almost 10% chance to top deck a card if I have 2 copies left in the deck, which would be like, let's say, a Tigress plushie. So this basically gives you a better idea to make an educated guess should you try to draw something or not, and what are the odds of that actually happening. We also have the fatigue counter. It's pretty helpful for you to know how much damage you're going to be taking on your next fatigue, so definitely have that turned on as well. And at the bottom here we have a bunch of card counters. It's pretty helpful. It basically can show you all sorts of different things, like a tune counter. Spell counter is pretty cool actually now with the Razzler decks. Well, not now exactly, but when Razzler was a super popular card, having show spell counter was pretty awesome. So you can actually see all the different spell schools the opponents cast, all the different spell schools you have cast, so you know exactly how many things a Razzler would be summoning for you if you don't have it in your hand just yet. For instance, we have the Jade Golem counter, Pogo Hopper counter, Galacron counter, Libram cost reduction counter is kind of cool nowadays. Oh, actually, this was the spell number of spells you've cast, like for things like that 8/8 Giant, it gets reduced by the number of spells, for instance. You also have a show spell school counter. I mixed it up, I guess. We also have the Abyssal Curse counter and show Excavate tier. And all of these are set to auto. Personally, I had things like Spell School counter always active, because by the time Deck Tracker actually realizes you're playing against a Razzler deck, the opponent already cast a bunch of spells, and you had to physically remember those, so it was a good idea to enable these for the opponent. This nowadays is actually somewhat of a old layout apparently, so you gotta enable it through here if you want those old layers active. I guess now they have it made better, but yeah, it's a good idea for you to know about this section in general. Moving out to the opponent, here we have plenty of the same stuff, but also a few other intricacies. Again, you could be fooling around with the size of the opponent's stuff, the opacity. We also have a secret scaling here. You could make this secret section a bit bigger or smaller. I guess I should have showed you that before I triggered the opponent's secrets. Let's hope he plays another one soon. Yeah, here if the secret part is too big for you, whereas the deck tracker part is good enough, you can actually custom it from here. And also you could make the secret stuff transparent a little bit more or less as well. Okay, now for the important opponent things, we have card age. Show card age is super good because it helps you know how long the opponent has actually held on to a card. For instance, right now we have 0, 4, and 6. 0 means that this card kept the card in their starting hand. They did not mulligan it away. If they did mulligan it away, it would have had an M. Now that it has a 0, this means that he kept the card from the beginning of the game and he still hasn't played it. So you can make some educated guesses what that card might be. Depending on the opponent, depending on the matchup, this could actually help you figure out some things. Like if you see a M for a card from the beginning against the control class, well, you might make an educated guess that's going to be a Primus, a Reno, that kind of deal. It's probably expensive. It's turn 10, he still hasn't played it. What else could it be? It is kind of cool like that. The 4 means that he top decked the card on turn 4, and the 6 means he drew it on turn 6, but since you have a tooltip, it means he generated it on turn 6, so this is what the tooltips I was talking about earlier mean. We also have show card marks. This is the tooltip, basically. Here we go. We also have show possible secrets. This is the secret section, basically. It's very cool to have it active. Show active effects. This is, again, the prep thing I was talking about. The pirate discount, like... Death Rattle Warlock right now has reduced the cost of the next Death Rattle minion by 3 until you play a next Death Rattle minion, so it's gonna be persistent like that. We also have show counters. Oh, so this actually shows all of the counters, like the ones at the bottom here. Right now, when I click show card counters, it removes this Arcane Fire Frost, so this right now is counting his all of the different spell schools he's cast so far. And here's also the tooltips I was talking about. These are the related cards you could be worrying about. And we can see he could be doing things like Multicaster, Sif, Elemental Inspiration, all of that kind of nonsense. Depends on how many arcane schools how many spell schools he's actually cast. So it's very nice to actually have these counters active. Here's the show related cards tooltip. When I remove it, it still has it. Weird. Could have sworn this is what it's supposed to mean, but I have it active, so it's probably important. Here's the show board attack counter for the opponent. Another thing you need to manually activate so you can actually have this information at the glance of an eye. Here I don't have to waste time multiplying 4 by 2 basically. I know it's still simple math, but it could be a lot scarier than this. In this way you get the spot easily that if the opponent's trying to set up some lethal against you, that kind of deal. It's gonna help you out save time to actually think about important things like strategy and all of that nonsense instead of actually wasting time mathing out things that are simply calculated for you. You can also center the deck vertically again. I don't want that. Include created cards is important here because you want to be seeing all the different things the opponent has discovered. So here I do have this thing active. We also have highlight discarded from deck, also pretty important. If the opponent burns a card, you're gonna see it here, but it's gonna be in red. So you're gonna know he already got that thing out of his deck, but he does not have access to it anymore, so you don't need to play around it. And we also have enable setting opponent's deck in non-friendly matches. This way, basically, if you know what deck the opponent is using, you get to actually import that deck for the opponent. And it's gonna load up same way as your deck, and you're gonna see all the 30 cards, and you're gonna get to see them grayed out when they use them and all of that. It's kinda interesting, but it's a little bit too niche, so don't worry about it too much. And again, in the middle section, we have the win rates against the particular class. We have the cards section, so you can see all their cards. The card counter, again, is pretty important. Right now, he has 3 cards in hand, 20 left in deck, so that's kinda cool. We also have the draw chances, again, same as yours, but here we also have another very cool little feature, which is the draw chances for his top decks. And this little part here is pretty cool as well, because it basically allows you to predict what are the odds of the opponent having a particular card in their hand if you know they're running 1 or 2 copies of it in their deck. For instance, right now, if I'm expecting this guy to have 2 Flame Strikes in the deck, and this Innkeeper deck actually does, the odds of him having Flame Strike in his current hand, which is 3 cards, would be 32.4%. The odds of him top decking a Flame Strike would be 10%. And if I was worried about him playing a legendary card or just a card he has a single copy of in the deck, the odds of him having that single card right now would be 17.4%, and the odds of him top decking that single card would be a 5%. So it's, again, helpful for you if you want to be making some educated decisions. It's really nice knowing this information. And we also have the fatigue counter again, pretty worth knowing. At the bottom, again, we have these legacy counters, but I think they're all lumped up into this new show counter section. I don't know, it's basically some old stuff. Yeah, you see how now it's counting it in the old style. He's excavated 0 times. He has Arcane Fire Frost, whereas if we remove it, we can see this counter instead, which is the new thing. We also have sections for Battlegrounds. Here you're gonna have to be on your own. You can figure these things out yourself. I don't play that thing no more. And same with Mercenaries. It also has some little things in here. Interactivity, not sure what this is, so I wouldn't be touching this section. We also have this general section in the tracker thing. Here we have card image scaling. What? I guess if I do this, cards are going to be huge like this, whereas if I do this, they're going to be tiny. We had it like this. It's kind of good enough, honestly. We also can change the language. We can show card tooltips. Not sure what that's about. I have it activated, apparently. You can also automatically select decks. You should have this usually activated. Sometimes it bugs out, and you're going to have to turn off automatic select decks for you to actually be able to import your real deck or something like that. If that happens, this is where you actually activate it back again. You go to Options, General, automatically select decks. We have a couple of other things here. These options are basically for the tracker itself. You have this Show My Games section. It's kind of nice having it active. Show Mana Curve, it's here at the bottom. Card sorting, class cards first. That's kind of annoying, actually. Yeah, I would definitely not have this. It basically lumps up all the class cards first and then all the neutrals. That makes no sense. And you can also archive arena decks. So once the run is over, I don't know, I don't play much arena nowadays, so who cares? We can also see some stat action here. Haven't really tinkered around too much with these, so I'm not gonna waste too much time. The video is already pretty long. We have some importing stuff happening here. It basically auto-imports decks as long as you build them with Deck Tracker. Seeing the things, you can have these ticked. You can also check these notifications. Show experience counter. Haven't noticed this thing lately, but it is ticked. Show hero notification at the start of Battlegrounds. Yeah, sure, whatever. We also have this plugin section. Here you can actually add some different plugins into the Deck Tracker. You might want to watch a separate video for that. It could be a little bit clunky, but it's not that hard. All you gotta do is go to the plugins folder and basically paste whatever plugin you have downloaded and slap it into here, and after you restart it should be here ready to be activated for you. That, for instance, is how you can actually link your streamer stats to Donkey, so that's kind of cool. Here's the hotkeys section. This is where I told you I have the toggle overlay active. It's on my insert key, so with the press of a button I get the hide deck tracker or show it really fast. So all you gotta do is go to this section and pick what you want to be happening, and then press the key and save it like that, and that way you're gonna be able to do cool stuff. With the click of a button you can look around yourself here. We also have apparently some backups. I haven't touched this at all. We also have appearance, and here's where you can do the thing. Here my theme is dark. I definitely prefer that. You can also have an accent color. I like me some red. Class icons, you can make them different. Class colors, you can make them alternative. Card theme can be different as well. I'm not sure. I think that's for this part here. Let's try. Yeah, here's some weird looking stuff. Minimal, what the fuck? It's basically blurred. But mine is dark. And deck layout, default. What else do we have? Alternate? Nah, fuck that. Let's just leave it at whatever. Let's just leave it at default. We also have rarity color card frames. It's barely noticeable, but here you can see this has a bluish little border. It's really not mattering much. Leroy has a legendary border, so I have it off, so it's basically not messing up like that. And I'm not really sure what these do. Use Metro animation. Uncheck to disable most animations for pop-up dialogues and flyouts. Yeah, I guess the fade-in nonsense, like, that did the fade-in, that just shows. But whatever, it's probably not important. We also have some settings in here. You can make it start with Windows, start minimize, close the tray. I'm actually gonna start it minimize, that's a good idea. Start minimize the tray, probably a little bit too much. Show the loading splash screen. That's actually annoying. Once you start it, it has the whole logo in the middle of the screen, so you can disable it from here. Close with Hearthstone is kind of cool as long as the game doesn't keep on crashing, so if it does, you probably don't want to close it with Hearthstone. Launch with Hearthstone is kind of a cool idea, but I just launch them and close them manually. Depends on what you prefer. There's also some, you can check for updates, you can even check for beta updates, which is kind of interesting. Advanced Windows search, I don't know what that is. Alternate screen capture, I don't know what that is. Show news bar, I'm not exactly sure what that is either. And at the bottom here, you have some, how you can actually connect the Twitch extension. Here's where you need to be looking for. There's also a setup guide, so you can look into that. Capturable overlay, not sure what that was as well. I think that was for streaming as well, but I just captured my whole screen, so that doesn't matter much. And that's about it for all the important features. There's also a few other things you need to think about, like for instance, if you did not automatically get the deck in your deck tracker, you can just import it from deck code from here, and you just, if you have a copied deck code, it's gonna grab it like that. Like, here's my decks. I can grab this deck, for instance, copy, and go to import from deck code, and now it's asking me to save it only. I'm not sure what the created in Hearthstone is, like, what's that gonna do? And here you can save it, change the name, all of that nonsense. You can even play around with the cards if you've changed something and the thing did not recognize again. So yeah, this is how you import. You can also export the deck you're currently playing, like if somebody asks you while you're in the game, can you send me the deck code? You can just do it from Deck Tracker, export the Hearthstone, you can copy the whole thing or just the code only. That's how you do it. You can even copy it as a screenshot, which is kind of cool, like you can save it to disk, use it for some pictures or some nonsense like that. And you can also check out some stats, which are pretty cool. You can go to Constructed. Here I'm gonna hide my Deck Tracker so it's not in the way. And from here, you can check all sorts of summaries. You can even check if you've played against a person before, like here's the little section here. Once I remove it, it's gonna take quite a while because it has tons of stats included in here, so it's gotta load up. Oh damn, my computer is trying to fly. The fans went to max all of a sudden and everything. So yeah, it's having a lot of stats. Here you can see all sorts of general stats. Wow, I have a 54% win rate. Try hard much? You can limit it just to the active deck, so you can see what are your stats with that. You can limit the time for this week, for this season, for this year, custom stuff, all of that nonsense. Yeah, you can also check out all of these little tabs on your own time. And this is the summary. We can also have matches. Here you can see exactly who you played against. It's even going to show you replays if you want to watch those. So that's pretty cool like that. You can yeah, watch the whole game through the HSReplay kind of deal. So that can be a good way for you to go over your replays and such. So yeah, all around Deck Tracker is a very powerful tool. Very, very worth knowing how to get the most out of it. And nowadays it's better than ever, basically, so definitely don't sleep on this powerful deck tracker. Very, very good to have it, and don't pretend you're gonna be playing just as well without it. Trust me, you will not. Here you can actually see all the secrets now. I was talking about the secrets overlay thing. Right now it's actually a little bit too small and not exactly where I want it to be, so all I gotta do is unlock my overlay, and I can actually move this thing here. It's usually sitting here for me. Right now, since we're playing in against the Innkeeper, this is basically wild, so it shows every single secret, so it's a little bit too big like that. Maybe it's probably still better to be on this side, but usually it's somewhere around here for me because it cuts off somewhere right here. But yeah, once you're happy with the setup, you just lock it back in, and that's about it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this HSReplay Deck Tracker guide. I did my best to explain everything to the best of my capabilities. I hope you found it helpful, and definitely grab it from my download link if you want to support the channel a little bit. It definitely would help a lot. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. That's gonna be it for this video. If you found it helpful, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can have for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.